Welcome to Thoughts on Thursday. It's Reverend Miller.
And Stuart Holmes.
With all the things that are happening in our life right now, there is a common theme that seems to be happening, and that is waiting. All of a sudden with COVID-19, we had to wait in lines to get into the grocery store, and once other stores opened, you had to wait. And we weren't always used to that, and then also certain products you could no longer find, and you had to wait until it came back to the store. So a sense of waiting and waiting and waiting. And if you didn't know, there is an election, a presidential election happening right now. And really, historically, we're waiting on the votes for the president longer than we have in the past. And when we wait, usually anxiety grows because we want to know the answer. We want to come to the finish line, and waiting is a difficult, to me at least, a difficult practice. And so for this Sunday, we are looking at waiting well. And the next few gospel lessons in the lectionary, to me, are about us waiting for the second coming of Christ and the difficulties of waiting, and also what does it mean to wait well? Do we wait and do nothing? Do we wait with actions and expectations? And so that's what we're going to explore in the next few Sundays, including this Sunday. And to me, there's some challenging texts. And so this Sunday's parable is the parable of the 10 virgins. And then the next Sunday's parable is one of Stuart's favorites, the parable of talents. It's actually a parable that many people have a difficulty translating, wondering exactly what that means. And I think the same can be said for the parable of the 10 virgins. So we'll be exploring that, and also this idea of waiting well while we are here on earth. And so, Stuart?
I think you need to explain that I came and talked to you about the talents, and even though my wife is a minister and somewhat versed in all things theological, I still didn't get it. So between you and her, maybe I'll pick it up the right way.
We'll see. We'll see how talented he is to pick that up. And we'll see exactly if we can fully understand it. And that's even in this sense of waiting, waiting truly to wait is not to have all the answers, right? And in Romans chapter 8, it says, what is true hope? Hoping for something you don't have. That's true hope. And in waiting, that's what we're doing. So, and I think the hymn that Stuart's going to talk about actually fits well within that.
It does. It's almost like we planned it.
It's
or
amazing.
You planned it. Anyway. Blessed Assurance. My choir knows that it wasn't one of my favorite hymns back early in my career, and it's kind of grown on me. There's a couple choir members, I don't want to mention Bill's name, that loves to take that last verse that comes in and say, praising my Savior all the day long. Just expanding that out like we're singing in Ocean Grove at a revival meeting. Well, that's kind of grown on me. So I looked up Blessed Assurance and about its composer for the text, Fanny Crosby. I didn't realize she had written in her lifetime, it says here, under 200 pen names. And in that time, she had thousands of hymns. At one point, she was asked to write 3 hymns a week. That's an amazing accomplishment. And to imagine that this is one of the hymns that really stuck with us all these years since her life in the very early 1900s. I find it amazing. She was frequently visited by other musicians asking, what do you think of this? And at one point, the composer of the tune approached her and played the tune and said, do you have something that text-wise that would go with that? And she said, yes, Blessed Assurance, which she had already penned. So that's how that hymn came about. And I'm looking forward to playing it and being a part of that worship experience with Fanny, even though she died 100 years ago.
And I would say that tune is one of those tunes you hear it, you know what hymn's coming.
Yeah.
You know, there's a few of those.
It's a fun hymn to improvise because that tune, you can pick up that little snippet and play it over and over again and develop that little simple theme. It's a fun hymn. So Bill, I wasn't going to mention his name. Bill's going to be very happy that I talked so much about being excited about that hymn.
It's wonderful. And it's interesting too, because when you play those notes, I hear the words. And they were actually created separately and put together, which often is music, but it's interesting how those go together so beautifully, even in that creative process. So, well, these are our thoughts. We will be waiting to see you on Sunday, either Facebook, Zoom, or in person. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.